Thank you all for coming, and thank you to 1111 for inviting me to read. This story is called The Stuttering Roommate, and it was published in this latest issue of 1111. I first wrote this story years ago. I was living in Knights Landing, which is a small town just past Woodland on the way to Yuba City. I played soccer with this group of mainly field workers from Michoacan, Mexico. And after practice, we'd go back to their place and hang out drinking beers in these apartments called the Wayside. And there on the Wayside lived a guy named Manolo, who had a really bad stutter. And one night he decided to call into this a radio program called Operación Cupido, Operation Cupid, where callers would leave their phone number. They describe themselves, they describe what kind of companion they were looking for, and why Manolo, the stutterer, thought it was a good idea to call into a live radio program. I have no idea. All I know is that we were there, we were all listening, and we all felt sorry as we listened to the difficult exchange, and we felt even sorrier when we learned that no one called back. And so when I first wrote the fictionalized version of this story, it ended up being a really sad story. And I felt sad in a way that seemed to sap the vitality out of the Wayside as well as the lives of all the men who lived there. So I set the story aside and I didn't think about it for years until I remembered Manolo's asshole roommate. So one day I'm sitting out in front of my compadre Chuy's trailer, which is on the far side of the Wayside, and Pedro, Girolamo, Marcos, and Rigoberto have joined me for a few beers. Manolo told us he was going to take a nap, so we let him be. Chuy had his radio playing, we were talking a whole bunch of nonsense about women and making money and returning home to Michoacan someday and buying houses the size of soccer fields when Operation Cupid starts, and we all quiet to listen. We hear a few listeners call in, and I initiated a game called Pansy or Not. A very simple game requiring participants to either say pansy or not a pansy. Most of us called the callers pansies, but when Pedro spoke too soon and said not a pansy, I called out, "You're a pansy for thinking he's not a pansy." Then no one wanted to play the game anymore because they accused me of always looking for ways of questioning their manhood. Well, we kind of lost interest in the radio show and had started talking about other subjects when Girolamo, who was sitting closest to the radio, cried, "Shh! It's Manolo!" He turned up the volume and we listened. Sure enough, it was our stuttering roommate. "What does he think he's doing?" I exclaimed, laughing. Everyone shushed me. "Compadre, what can I do for you tonight?" the DJ asked. There was a pause on the line. The DJ said, "Compadre, are you there?" I cried, "Aw, shit, what's Manolo doing? He's asking for it." I was shushed again. Manolo started in. I just would like, the DJ cut him off. "You would like to leave your number for some beautiful lady out there. Isn't that right, compadre?" Manolo stammered a yes. The DJ must have caught on that this caller wasn't the usual pre-ejaculator, because instead of asking Manolo where he was from, the DJ made a guess. "You sound like a countryman from Michoacan, am I right?" All Manolo had to say was yes, but he decided to make things difficult. He found it necessary to state the exact little rancho he hailed from. Moroso. "Very good," the DJ responded, pausing to collect his thoughts, probably not sure what the hell had just been said. Then, still trying to make the phone call less difficult for all involved, he asked, "And how about where you're located now? Let me guess, Sacramento." This time, he wasn't so lucky. Manolo stammered no. The DJ sighed and chuckled gently. "Well then, compadre, it's not important where you're from. The ladies know you're in the area," and Manolo cut him off. "I'm from Winters." "Winters," I cried out. "That's Manolo from Knights Landing if I've ever heard him. Does he think we won't know it's him?" This time, no one shushed me. Everyone was quiet. I looked around at my previously jovial beer-drinking buddies. Like always, Manolo and his damn stuttering had put everyone in a shitty mood. The phone call ended, the DJ moved onto other callers, and we were left wondering how to approach Manolo about his Operation Cupid debut. I suggested we call him from a payphone and pretend we're expectant ladies, appreciative of his courage and valor in the face of such obstacles. Pedro called me a son of a bitch. Rigoberto told me that if I said anything about the phone call, he'd personally kick my ass. I told him he might as well kick my ass right now, because not saying anything about the phone call was like busying about the kitchen while your wife fucked your best friend in the bedroom. My comment was received with a few blank stares. I tried again. Ignoring the phone call is like sweeping around an elephant in the middle of the room. Rigoberto told me to keep my mouth shut for once in my life. They left me to my beers. An hour later, I decided I'd had enough and headed back to the apartment. I resolved to keep quiet about the phone call so much as was possible. I entered the apartment and found Manolo sitting on his bed, staring at the phone on his bedside table. He didn't even look up when I entered. I changed my clothes and brushed my teeth. Out in the room, Manolo was still staring at the phone. I figured it couldn't hurt to ask him what he was doing. Pedro and Rigoberto, who were lying in bed, shot me icy stares. Manolo told me, "I'm waiting for a phone call." I told him very well and got into bed. I don't know why, but at that moment I started thinking about my last girlfriend and all the times I had waited for her phone calls. Just as I would be about to lose my mind, she'd call, always apologetic, telling me that it wasn't her fault, that she'd been held up with her friends, her family, or whatever excuse she invented. I'd forgive her, and then sure enough, she'd do it again the next time. One day, she just never called me back. Remembering this put me in a foul mood, and I was suddenly resentful of Manolo for reminding me of old memories I thought had been dealt with and forgotten. I looked over at him and said, "Manolo, staring at the phone doesn't make it ring. Take it from one who knows." My roommates all shot me looks of disgust. Rigoberto was ready to pounce on me. Manolo replied, I know, but I just want to." I rolled my eyes. The radio was on. I could hear that Operation Cupid was wrapping up. I brought it to Manolo's attention. "Look at that, Manolo. The evening hours pass by so quickly. Operation Cupid is already over." I saw Manolo's shoulders slump, and I felt guilty. I made amends with a little fib. "You know, I bet those ladies out there just keep calling until all hours of the morning. I bet it takes them a while to work up the nerve. Hell, my cousin called in once, and this girl called him at 3 in the morning. Rigoberto told me to shut the fuck up. Then he told me to go to bed. Sorry, normally I would have told him to go stick it where it was unnatural, but the beers had made me tired, so I decided to shut off my lamp and try to sleep. I nodded off, but I woke with the start what felt like hours later. I looked at the clock. It had only been a half hour. It was dark except for the lamp on the far side of the room. Manolo was still there on his bed, staring at the phone. Thank you.